Welcome back to the West Virginia Media Lab podcast, everybody.
Glad to be back.
We had a post recently on our blog. It's really kind of taken off, actually, and I've been getting a lot of questions about it. And you flagged it for me pretty early on, and so that's why you're here. And
Yeah.
it's about this, the Boone County moon-eyed beasts.
Right.
Now, I know that you are someone who likes to go a little bit deeper, so I figured that we could spend a little bit of time unpacking this together.
Absolutely, I'd love to.
All right, so the post kind of starts out with this image of kind of a classic image almost of a forgotten mine.
Right.
So can you sort of set the scene for us? What's the basis of this creepy story?
Well, the narrative revolves around Henry Dalton, and according to the Post, his family has been working these hills for generations.
Wow.
And so in 1962, he was working in a mine, and it was abruptly shut down by the company.
Okay.
Because a series of unsettling events had kind of taken place.
Like what?
Well, like cave-ins that almost seemed deliberate. Some workers vanished without a trace, and equipment was just failing.
Like mysteriously failing.
Yeah, it was like nobody could figure out what was going on.
Wow.
And so it really created a sense of unease, even among these really seasoned miners.
But Henry's not one to be deterred, right?
Right.
He's like, well, let's see what's going on.
Yeah, the Post makes it clear that he's not easily intimidated.
So they get their crew together and they go back into this mine. Why?
Well, it seems like their main motivation was that there was still coal in there.
Oh.
And they thought, well, maybe we can work this outside the company's oversight.
Oh, so it's kind of a rogue mining operation.
Yeah, exactly. It's a bit of a gamble, but
Yeah.
they're thinking maybe we can earn some extra income.
And make a little tash on the side.
Exactly. So they grab their lanterns and head back into this dark and abandoned mine.
Boy. So, they get in there, they're walking along, and they make this discovery, right?
Right.
What is it that they find?
About 100 yards in, they come across these scattered bones.
Yeah.
And what's really creepy is that the Post emphasizes they're near this rusted out minecart.
Okay.
So it doesn't seem like it's just, some animal that wandered in.
Right.
And they're much larger than any animal bones that they would typically find.
So we're not talking like deer or possum or something like that.
No, these are much bigger than that.
Okay.
And what really gets them, though, is that the Post points out there's clear evidence that something has been gnawing on these bones.
Oh.
But it's not the kind of gnawing that they would expect from, say, a coyote or anything like that.
So it's something different.
Yeah, it suggests something else entirely.
Oh, that's unsettling.
Yeah, and as if that wasn't enough, they start hearing this sound.
Oh, really? What kind of sound?
The Post describes it as a clicking sound.
Clicking like a...
Well, it likens it to the sound of stones tapping together.
Oh, wow.
So imagine being in this, dark abandoned mine
That's
and
true.
hearing this rhythmic clicking sound.
Oh, yeah, that'd be creepy.
Yeah, it really puts them on edge. And as they shine their lanterns further into the darkness, they realize they're not alone.
Oh, so is this where the moon-eyed beasts come in?
Yes, this is where the legend really takes its most terrifying form.
Okay, so tell me what they see.
So the first thing they notice are pairs of glowing white eyes.
Glowing white eyes in the darkness.
Yeah, and as that clicking sound intensifies, they start to see more and more of these eyes. The light from their lanterns is barely enough to penetrate the darkness, so they only get these fleeting glimpses of these shadowy figures moving around.
That's terrifying.
Oh, yeah, and then Henry gets a closer look at one of these creatures.
Oh, no.
And the description in the Post is really striking.
Okay.
It talks about pale, almost translucent skin like it's never seen the sun,
Okay.
and then elongated teeth like those of a predator.
Oh, boy.
And, of course, those eyes.
Just glowing eyes.
Yeah, large and bulging and radiating this bright white, like little full moon.
Like moon-eyed beasts?
Exactly. And the Post really emphasizes that there wasn't just one. There were dozens of them.
Dozens.
Surrounding the miners on all sides.
So what do?
Well, I think it's safe to say they don't stick around to find out more.
I wouldn't either.
Yeah, the Post describes them fleeing the mine in pure terror.
Oh, my God.
And as if things couldn't get any worse, their lanterns start to die out as they're running through these pitch black tunnels.
So they can't even see where they're going?
No, they're basically running blind, guided only by instinct and the fading glow of those eyes behind them.
Oh, gosh. So they make it out of the mine?
Yeah, they finally burst out into the night air and collapse, leaving those glowing eyes behind, watching them for the darkness.
That's a horrifying image.
Yeah, it's a really haunting scene.
So what happens next?
Well, the next morning, the mining company shows up,
Oh,
and they seal the entrance to the mine.
really? Just like that?
Yep, no explanation, no investigation into the missing workers or anything that Henry and his crew encountered.
Wow, so they're not even acknowledging that anything happened.
Nope, just a sealed mine and silence.
Wow, that's really strange.
Yeah, it definitely adds to the mystery.
So I'm curious, beyond this specific incident, what are some of the theories about these moon-eyed beasts? What do people in Boone County think?
Well, there are a few different theories that have taken root in local lore.
Okay.
One suggests that the creatures were once miners themselves, that they
Wow.
became trapped in the mine,
Wow.
and over time they transformed into these pale nocturnal beings driven by hunger.
Wow, that's a creepy thought.
Yeah, it's definitely unsettling.
So what are some of the other theories?
Well, another theory is that these beings have always been there,
Oh.
in the extensive cave systems of the region, long before settlers arrived.
Oh, wow. So they've just been there waiting.
Exactly, a hidden population disturbed by the intrusion of mining.
That's fascinating.
And then there's a particularly chilling thought that maybe they aren't confined to the mines at all.
Oh, no.
Maybe they've learned to venture out into the wider world.
So they could be out there right now,
It's a possibility.
and we wouldn't even know it.
Not until it's too late.
So the post mentions that these creatures are never seen in daylight, and that the clicking sound is often heard on nights when the moon is full.
Right.
What do you think those details add to the legend?
Well, I think those details really solidify the moon-eyed beasts within the realm of folklore.
Oh, okay.
The aversion to daylight really establishes them as creatures of the subterranean world.
Yeah.
Like they're completely adapted to darkness. And then the detail about the clicking sound being linked to the full moon,
Oh, yeah.
that adds this layer of almost mythical timing to their potential activity.
That's a really good point.
And, thinking about how legends persist those sensory specifics.
Like the glowing eyes and the clicking.
Yeah, they make the story so much more vivid and memorable.
Yeah, definitely.
And it creates this sense of a hidden world operating just outside our normal perception.
It's like there's this whole other world going on that we're not even aware of.
Exactly. And it's tied to these cycles of the moon and the darkness beneath our feet.
That's really fascinating.
Yeah, it's a really compelling legend.
So the post kind of wraps up by throwing the question out to the readers. What do you think about all of this?
Well, I think what's really interesting about this legend is how it blends the very real dangers of coal mining
Right.
with those primal human fears of the unknown.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
You've got the constant threat of collapse,
Yeah.
the isolation, the potential for something lurking in the darkness.
And then you add those creepy details.
Yeah, the glowing eyes, the clicking, the pale skin. It creates such a powerful and unsettling image.
It really does.
And whether the story is based on a real encounter or just an exaggerated tale.
Or a complete fabrication.
Right, it speaks volumes about the power of storytelling within a community.
That's true.
It's a way of processing anxieties, explaining the unexplainable, and maybe even warning against the dangers in their environment.
Yeah, and that unexplained sealing of the mine,
Right.
that really adds to the mystery.
Absolutely, it keeps the legend alive.
So there you have it. The tale of the moon-eyed beasts of Boone County, right from our own West Virginia Media Lab blog.
Yep.
It's a story that will definitely stay with you, especially if you're ever near an old mine as the sun goes down.
Yeah, I'll be thinking twice about going into any caves anytime soon.
Me too. So what do you think? Is it just an old miner's tale, or could there be something more to it?
Well, that's the question, isn't it?
It definitely is. It gives you something to think about.
Definitely makes you wonder what else might be out there.
Thanks for joining us today to explore this West Virginia legend.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
And to all of you listening, thanks for tuning in to the West Virginia Media Lab podcast.
We'll see you next time.
See you then.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to today's podcast. The West Virginia Media Lab is all about celebrating our state and its people, businesses, stories, news, and folklore. If you love West Virginia like we do, be sure to comment below, then subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell to stay connected. Until next time, stay wild, wonderful, West Virginia.